Big, rich, big, rich, big, rich, big. So where to begin? The bipolar goon in a padded room, consumed by the coming doom. The return of Christ at noon split the world in two. Dude pursued the cool until he ruled. In 2077 his life's due. The tomb of the devil erected in my room. He resurrected and reunited with the fools, the Hutus in 94 and Ouagadougou in 2016. I see the clues, the Ku Klux Klan in the form of the neighborhood crew.
Yeah. Big Rich here. Big Rich live on the mic radio show. A day late, had some things to do, so the Hump Day show is now coming out on Thursday. Just for this week. We'll get it back together next week, and our Saturday show will jump off like it's supposed to. So like I said, Big Rich here, Big Rich live on the mic radio show. Hope everybody is safe and happy. Hope that all your dreams come true and your goals are right where they need to be. Here on the channel, we're now thinking about the future. Always. We're always thinking about the future. We're thinking about cooperative economics. We're thinking about crowd funding and cash mobbing and stuff like that. We're always looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to the future because let me tell you something. If you don't look forward to the future, it will pass you by. You will always be destined to stay and live in the past. So that is the moniker, what we use here on the show and on the channel. I appreciate everybody who watches our shows. Our shows getting close to 20,000 views an episode. I think we plateaued at about 17,000. So, you know, keep it coming, keep it coming. And to reiterate that, keep it coming. If you could share this to your social media platforms, you know, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Put us on your Facebook pages. Put us on your Twitter feeds. Tag us in, tag us in the Instagram. Keep it coming. Just keep it coming. Each one teach one. That's what we say. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. That type of stuff there. So, you know, with that, we will get into the show. Remember, we always start our shows with giving our addresses and media platforms across the nation. Twitter's capital B, capital R, live on the mic. Instagram is Big Rich live on the mic, _ between each word. Email addresses is bigrichliveenthemic@gmail.com or Dark Shadow Media Group @gmail.com. Websites are www.bigrichliveenthemic.com or www.darkshadowmediagroup.com. Facebook is simple. Facebook.com/Big Rich on the mic. So if you can, if you will, if you please, like, share, and subscribe. Again, like I said, hit that little like button. Thumbs up would be great. Thumbs down, but again, at least you took the time to watch. And like I tell people that want to leave like a thumbs down, that's your prerogative. But it'd be really great if you could put down why. Maybe we can expand the show. Now, if you're a troll and stuff like that, you know, you get blocked, and you know, we'll keep it moving. Because one, it doesn't bother me personally. I mean, you ain't gonna whoop my ass. I ain't worried about that. But it's a lot of people who said that on other channels and stuff that their moderators and stuff like that allow that type of stuff to happen, and it's just traumatizing to some people. So, you know, keep your stuff clean, keep your comments, you know, professional, if you will, human, if you will, you know, with some type of modicum of respect, and we can keep it moving. If not, boom, you know, kick rocks. You know, we'll ban you, and you can go and troll somebody else's page. So with that note, we're going to get back. Remember what I said before. I said on Saturday's show, we were going to take your emails. We're going to take your emails. We're going to take your direct messages, some tweets and stuff like that. I broke it down to 4 because I didn't want to keep rambling on and on and on and on. So I got 4. I think I got 2 emails and I got 2 direct messages. I'm sorry, 1 direct message and 1 tweet. So I'll give the name and stuff like that, and then I'll ask what question they want me to answer, and then I'll try to answer it as the best of my ability, and then you guys can chop it up back and forth with your comments down below or anything like that, so we can get a cross feed, if you will, of knowledge and opinions, because we're not all the same. We weren't great. We wasn't raised the same. We wasn't brought up the same, lived the same, that type of stuff right there. So it's always great to have different forms of opinion. So that's what we're going to do. So I appreciate the emails. I'm sorry I only got 4, but like I said, I don't want a 2 or 3 hour show. Trying to keep this between 30 minutes and an hour. We're going to do the best we can. So I picked out the 4 that I thought that was not only the most interesting, but something that I have an answer for. And we'll keep it going. I think I have like, I want to say maybe 250 different questions over our vast social media platform. So, you know, I definitely haven't missed out on any of your questions, or sitting around here trying to scratch my head, trying to figure out, you know, some new questions and stuff. And speaking of my head, I know you can't see this here, but I found out today I went to my boy, right? And it's just something totally different. But I went to my boy J-Bo, right? Jazz, you know, shouts out. You know, he's been my barber for 20 years. This man is closer to me than my own blood relatives, if you will. And it's the first time when he picked my stuff out to give me a nice little cut. You see, he didn't give me a nice little cut. He's like, "Damn, Rick, you going bald. I got a thinning spot right about here, and it is killing me. I mean, it's about as big as maybe a 50-cent piece, and it's starting to really bother me." I know it was bound to happen because my dad, you know, his started balling when he was in his early 30s, and I'm in my late 40s. So, you know, I had about 15 years to the good in the game. So I don't know, man. I might have to spray this, or better yet, I might get with the hair club for men and see if I can get this little patch hooked up, because I'm trying not to go bald at this particular moment. But if I have to, I have to. It is what it is. I tell you one thing I won't do is I won't be sitting over here trying to keep these little afro puffs to the side, and all this is just barren. I think that is the dumbest thing available, but I digress. So I just figured that it just popped in my mind when I was talking about scratching my head. Okay, the first email we got is from Adrian Martin. He says he's out of St. Louis, Missouri, and he said, "Hi, Rich. Love the show." He says, "How did you start your business?" Great question. Great question. Anybody who don't know, I am a retired police officer, but I also have a security firm. I also I am the owner and CEO of a security firm out of Orlando, Florida. It's called One PPS. One is just one. We are one. My whole team, we are one. We act as one. You know, our moniker is one voice, one mission, one team. We are one. So it's capital N, capital E. And PPS just basically is personal protective services. We've been in business since 2001. So that gives us 16 years in the game. You know, in January, we will be 17 years in the game. You know, we've gone all over the world. We provide protection to so many people and businesses, high profile people, you know, people that you never know and never would know that need protection and stuff like that. We work for entertainment personnel and establishments and so on and so forth. But the question is, how did I start the business? Well, I'll tell you this. And he's going to remain nameless because I haven't spoken to him to get sort of permission to put his business in the street. But when I was a youngster, you know, working in the police department, let me see, I retired when I had 23 years on. We're 16 to the good. So what's that? 7 years, around that, 6-7 years. I was on the force, and I had met this ball player, and he just kicked it, you know, just stopped. Wanted to see what we was doing and stuff like that. You know, we sat down, we chopped it up all night, you know, all night. Because back then, we worked from, I used to get there from 10:30, and I used to work till like 3:30 because the club would close. Last call was at 2 o'clock. Club would close at 3. Everybody be gone. Then I would have to do the money run. So I was there about almost 5.5 hours. So we chopped it up the whole night. Just sat there and just chopped up and basically became friends. So this was during the off season. So every week, every Wednesday, he would just like clockwork, just would show up, and we would chop game and clown around and stuff like that, and he was interested in my stories as being a police officer. I was interested in his stories, being that tall and being just a NBA superstar and stuff like that. And one thing led to another, to when he was asking. Actually, I digress. Back then, something that happened with his family where he needed some protection. Again, not putting all his business out, but he didn't need protection, but he just wanted people to stay away from, like, his family during this particular time. So he had called me and asked me, could I do it? And could I find some cash to do it? I was like, okay, now at this point we're friends, we're family. So I'm like, well, how much is it? I'm like, you don't owe me nothing. From that day on, he was like, dude, I will never ask you to work for me for free. You are doing something for me. I appreciate it, and I will compensate you. How much you gonna charge me? So it took me a while to come up with a price because, I'm looking at my boy. This is family to me, and family does things, without looking for compensation. You feel me? So he had asked, so we did this to him, and we did this for him, and he started asking. He was like, have you ever thought about doing it professionally, having a company? I was like, well, no. Well, he was like, well, shoot, I think you should do it. You guys are great. One thing led to another. I get with my boys. We have a team. There's 5 of us. It's actually, there's 6 of us now, but originally there was 5 of us. Okay, I can say the names, but it's me, a guy named JD, my boy Marlon, Raul, Big Al. Okay, that was it. Okay, now we have Brandon, who is the youngster of the group, but basically it was just us 5. We got down, we sat down, I brought it to him, because that's what I usually do. I'm the idea maker. I'm the one who puts it all together and then brings it together. I come up with the idea, I bring it together, and then it falls apart because, either other people got other things to do, or it was not a very good idea in the first place, okay? But I brought it to them, and I was like, whoop-de-woo, this is what we're going to do and stuff. So we pooled, like, I think it was like $200, $250 together, something like that. Everybody kicked in that so we can incorporate, so we can have logos, we can get licenses, we can get, uniform shirts and stuff like that. We did all of that. And now I'm the sole owner. It's just people would drop off. People would drop off and they have their own things to do and stuff like that. And it was just my baby. One thing you need to learn is that nobody is going to love your baby and raise your baby like you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, very, very seldom you'll get somebody and they feel an idea that you brought just as much as you are. And a lot of times it's close, but it really, even if it's close, it's not. So, you have to keep on it. So anyway, so I'm the sole owner now, and they still work with me. I don't do any work. I don't do any physical work because of my medical conditions and stuff like that. So I basically am the true CEO, where I get the clients, I get the jobs, I send them out, and then they put them together, and then they work them and stuff like that. So to a roundabout way, that's how I started the business. But if you want to talk about maybe the ins and outs of how do you incorporate and stuff like that, I could just give you a brief synopsis of that. It's really, really, really easy to incorporate. Basically, all you want to start over with an LLC. An LLC is a limited liability corporation. Basically, what they're saying is, if you do something stupid, right, you cannot be personally sued. They cannot personally come after your assets, your house, your car, your bank accounts. They would come after the corporation. So a lot of people incorporate because it's just easier. It's easier to put everything together and to basically protect yourself and protect your particular clients. So, like say in the state of Florida, you go to sunbiz.org. In the search box, you put down whatever corporation name that you want to. And this is if you want to do it yourself. And then they'll let you know if that particular corporation name is available. And if it is, they'll ask you if you want it or not. And I think it's like $175. I haven't incorporated something, obviously, in years. But I think it's like either $130 or $175 in between there. And that's it. You're right there. Boom. Now, if you're doing some type of e-commerce or something like that, then you need a tax ID number. And then all you do is you call up. You can either call them, the federal government, the IRS, or you can go on their website. They would need to know the name of your business. They would ask you all of your pertinent information about if you have principals, your owners, your hierarchy. Because with liability, you have to have two things. You have to have two things, sometimes three, but you have to have a owner, a principal owner, usually the CEO. You have to have a secretary, because that is the person that's going to be responsible to re-up, to provide anything that the IRS would need. And then some jurisdictions say that you need a sergeant at arms. I don't really know that. State of Florida don't really need that, but those are what you need. Now, all of them can be the same. They can all be the same. I have plenty of associates who have their own businesses where they are the CEO, the secretary, and the sergeant at arms. It's because it's a single person entity, and you can do that. And then, like I said, I've already explained to you, if you're doing an e-commerce, you need a tax ID number. Because let me tell you something, Uncle Sam want their bread now. They want their bread. So that's easy. All of that is easy. If you do it online, once you pay the money and it's been approved, which sometimes is instantaneous, it's going to be approved no later than the next business day. Then once you get your email, I wish I could show you because it's on the wall back here, but you print up your form that incorporates you, that gives you authorization to incorporate you. And what I did is I took a copy of it. I made a couple of copies, put a copy in my safe. I put a copy in my portfolio that I carry around in my bag. And then the original is hung up on the wall back here behind the light. And you say, well, what do I bring that with you? Well, a lot of times, you have to have some type of bank account. Okay, so you go and you open up a bank account, a business bank account from a bank, and they're going to need that form. They're going to need that form that shows your incorporation. If you're doing, like I said, an e-commerce e-commerce business that you are accepting money for, then you're going to need that tax ID number. All that's together, so all the records are kept and are properly completed. So that's how I started. How did I start my business? That's how I started, and that's why I started. I hope I answered your question. Anybody wants any other questions and stuff like that, if you want to delve in deeper, or if you want me to do a video, a step-by-step video on how I started my business, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do that. It's not a problem. The next email is from Maxine Butler. It says, she says, how or what do I do about the lack of real history taught to our kids? Maxine or Miss Butler, that is a brilliant question. I get that question a lot, and I ask that question. Just because I have my own show doesn't mean I know everything. I follow a lot of other people's shows. I collaborate with a lot of other people. I go back and forth with tweets, and I leave comments on the bottom of their videos to ask questions, because a stupid question is one not asked. Okay? So that is a question that I've asked many people on many of occasions. And the answer I've gotten back is pretty much what I thought. This supremacist and revisionist history has been around since the beginning of time. Since we've been able to document history. Okay? And unfortunately, if you have kids that are going to school, junior high school, elementary school, high school, that type of stuff right there, they have to take that type of curriculum to make it, unless you're homeschooling them. And then when you homeschooling them, you still got to teach them, or quote unquote indoctrinate them to a lot of revisionist history. What I say is to do the same thing what me and my wife did with my daughter, is that they learn what they need to learn to pass whatever test, the FCAT and all that type of stuff right there. But when they get home, after they finish doing their homework and studying, this is when you become the teacher. You bring out books. If you're a Native American, your children should know about Geronimo. Your children should know about the Trail of Tears. Your children should know about the how Manhattan was stolen, you know, on a bottle of wine, what would amount to as a bottle of wine and stuff like that. You know, they need to know those type of things. If you're African American, people need to know, your kids need to know that African Americans didn't start on this earth as slaves, and not everybody lives and hunts and walks around naked and stuff like that. It just doesn't happen. You are the descendants of kings and queens. Does that mean that all African Americans on the face of this earth are kings and queens? Hell no, it don't. No, it don't. There's a lot of messed up people, regardless of what nationality and color you are. But the fact of the matter is, you are the ultimate authority within your household. These are things that you have to learn. Like, case in point, why in the heck did I have to learn when I went to my last couple of years in high school, and then when I went to college, why the hell I had to learn calculus? Why? I've never used calculus. I've used some geometry, depending on what I was doing, and obviously a lot of simple arithmetic. But why the hell did I have to learn calculus? It is because that was the prerequisite. That was what is taught. Okay, fine. So they have to learn this and that. And they won't teach them that this country was built on lies and racism and superiority of one race over other races and stuff like that. They'll never learn that in school unless you go to college, because I did learn a lot of that stuff taking college classes. So it is your responsibility as the parent, as an uncle, as an aunt, as a mentor, to teach them that, to make sure that they understand the true meaning of history and back it up by facts. You know, it's funny when I get into Twitter beefs, and I try not to. You know, my daughter told me that just a waste of time. But when I get into certain Twitter beefs and stuff like that, it's funny how you'll get the, no, that's not true. That's not true. Well, how do you know that's not true? You know, well, this is what I was taught. You know, my grandfather, and unless you took saying that my grandfather is a liar, you know, I'm not saying that. Because I don't know who taught that, your grandfather, or your mother, or your father, or your uncle, or your aunt, or whatever. The fact of the matter is, facts. You know, one of the good things that I say Reverend Al Sharpton said was, you can have different opinions, but you can't have different facts. Facts is what facts are. So as long as you're teaching your particular son or daughter, your children, your nieces and nephews, stuff like that, you are teaching them real history that's based by fact, then that should be what you do. You understand, you say, look, this is what you got to do. You have to learn this to pass this course. But that's not true history. Play the game, do what you got to do to get where you need to go. But you know, in the back of your mind, that's bullshit. You know, that's bullshit because I got the documents to prove that. But I'm not going to sit up here, whatever. It is what it is. But I know. And that is basically what I would say as far as that's concerned. Again, I hope that answered your question. Revisionist history is just that. You know, it is just that. It is history that, you know, the dominant society decide to do what's in their best interest. You know, which you really can't blame somebody. And again, I'm not taking sides, but you know, it's hard. I think it takes a big person to admit that they're wrong and teach the dark side of their particular race, color, creed, religion, you know, sexual orientation. I think it's very, very bold, you know, when people do that, when people are like, hey, you know, we haven't done everything right. You know, yes, we've done some good things. We've done some awesome things, but we also have done some horrendous things, and we need to teach both of them, because that is what true history, to me, that's what a great person does. A great person tells both sides of a story, good, bad, and indifference, as long as it's all backed up by facts. Okay, this was a tweet by Chester FPV. The funny thing is, FPV, I think, is first person vehicle. So I don't know if this person is into what's those the racing, air racing and stuff like that. I don't know. I was just watching the show and stuff like that. So like the GoPros and the Mavic Pros, not the GoPros, the Mavic Pros and stuff like that. The drones, drone racing. So anyway, it says Rich, thanks for, I hope you answered my show. I hope you answered my question. Sorry. It says, with all that has happened in politics and in the justice system, how do we not just say F it all? That's hard. It's hard not to. We're all human beings, and, it takes its toll. And it's probably something I'm thinking that, because it was like hashtag Michael Slager and stuff like that. Michael Slager non conviction. And this probably is, I'm thinking, again, I'm just throwing it out there because I'm thinking that's why else would they send that. I'm thinking they talking about the hung jury of the Michael Slager case that we talked about last week in last week's show. That's why we couldn't do this particular subject on Saturday. What I say is, if we all decide to give excuse me, if we all decide to give up, then they won. Then the powers that be, who are the true minority, have won. It's easier said than done, and I understand it completely. It is easier said than done that you should still have hope in a system that's based on supremacy and the subjugation of people who are less than. Okay, either less than in money, less than in education, less than in power, that type of stuff right there. I understand that. And I will not insult your intelligence, because I hate when people try to insult my intelligence when they sit down there and say, yeah, it's not the best, but it's the best thing going. What does that mean? What's that mean? Okay, I didn't shoot you in the head. I just shot you in the foot. Or it was a grazing blow. And I say, well, yeah, it was bad, but it could have been worse. I could have shot you in the head and you could have died. Yeah, but it still hurts and it's still screwed up. So all I say is, one, we can allow ourselves to be put into situations that we are being judged by six or a judge or a judge. We cannot put ourselves in position where our fate is being decided by perfect strangers who might have racist, stereotypical, or bigoted views and understandings. We can't put ourselves in a position where we have to expect people who say that they have the best interests of all involved, which but they really don't, in charge. We have to not put ourselves in positions where we are in front of the quote unquote man and going to court, or we're being pulled over and we know that we have a suspended license and the car is not registered, or we have no insurance on the car. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about black people. I'm just talking about people, period. I'm talking about people, period. We have to check ourselves as much as we can. Now, I know, because I am that way. I drive around a good car. I always get pulled over because, one, I speed, but my car is always right. My stuff is on tight, and being a police officer, I understand that I have certain goodies, if you will, and privileges that the normal person don't have, and I understand that. But you also have to realize, I used to tell these brothers when we were working like car shows and stuff like that, when they want to ride around the street with these nice cars, but blasting the music. You got one guy hanging out at one window. You got another guy with the door open. You got another guy swerving in and out of traffic, spinning tires. And then wonder why you being screwed with. Dude, it's like, hey, look at me. Come mess with me. I want to be messed with. Okay, I'm not confusion. I am not excusing anybody from doing the type of thing, especially if they wear the same uniform that I did. But I'm just saying, we have to worry about not putting ourselves and talking to our younger youth and stuff to be like, look, we got to do something a little bit different so we can make sure that you don't have to go into that system where it's supposed to be blind, but it's not. And I remember when I said, and I know many of you will put down or tell me in a direct message, hey, Rich, you said that you believe that justice is blind. I truly do. I truly do. I truly do. Because other than the laws that was during slavery and Jim Crow that was specifically for whites or specifically for blacks, the majority of the laws, a lot of them of the laws. Remember, when you say majority, that could be 51, that could be 49, and everything else can be like 10, you know? So the majority of laws are transparent. You know, they're transparent and they're colorblind. However, the people who administer the laws, they are not blind. So justice could very well be blind, but the people who are in charge to administer it are not. And there, ergo, the issue to where you get, let's say, 20 years for crack cocaine, you get 5 years probation for coke. Same thing, but it's just different. African Americans proportionately more of us use crack cocaine. The dominant society, the majority of Caucasians, they use powder cocaine. You feel me? The law don't know the dang on difference. The law don't know the difference. It's the people who administer the law knows the difference. So all I can say is, let's get with ourselves. Let's get with our youth. Let's get with our family members. Let's get with our friends and be like, look, how can we do this? So we can make sure, okay, bro, next time that you feel that you got to go to the store and you have no license, or your insurance is bad, or you know, the tail light, give me a call. You know, if I can help you, I help you. I mean, I might not have the money to help you pay back insurance, but I got a car. Maybe the money that you was going to say, put $5 worth of gas in my car and I'll come get you. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's overly simplistic, but I'm just saying, how you have hope is you make sure that you never put yourself in that position in the first place. Now, what about the people who get railroaded? The people who are in that position, no fault of their own. That's when, as a community, you rise up and you're like, no. Y'all, all of this railroading is not going to happen. Oops, sorry. All that railroading is not going to happen. The fact of the matter is, if this is what you gave Buddy, then this is what you're going to give Jamal. Period. And if not, what we're going to do is we're going to rise up during election time. We're going to vote your behind out. Like they voted out Anita Alvarez. Like they voted out Tim McGinty and the rest of these clowns. You know what I'm saying? Who don't do their job the way they're supposed to do their job. It's hilarious how you can sit around and go guns a-blazing to everybody except for somebody who you particularly like or work with. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, you know, together we can put hope within ourselves and then force the justice system and the political system to do our bidding and not the bidding of the rich, the famous, the powerful, and the minority. Always remember that. There are a whole heck of a lot more of us than there ever will be of them. And we need to realize that there's strength in numbers. But see, the thing is, as long as we sitting around here, oh, well, you getting this and you not getting that, and why can't I get this, and I don't like you, and this don't like this, and this person said that. This is how they do it. This is how they do it. The people in power and controlling the purse strings, they do that. They keep everybody fighting and bickering amongst themselves because they understand that if you get together and you be like, whoa. Okay, cool. I don't like you. But right now we got the same problem, and the same problem is damn over there. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. And the last one is a tweet from Katrina. That's all it is, Katrina. And it says, my kids don't understand me, help. And the only thing I can say about that is you have to maintain a relationship with your kids and try to make it fun for them, even if it's serious. You have to make it fun for them. And kids are tired of, oh, because I said so. Well, mom, well, why I got to do it because I said so? I did it. My mom did it. Her mom did it. You know, and people will continue to do it. And for the majority of kids, they'll be fine. But you got to sometimes explain. So now certain things you can't explain. Why can't I be outside after dark? I'm going to tell you one time. Because this, that, and the third can happen after dark. And I need you to be safe. Now, after that, don't keep asking me. Because then it's going to be like, because I said so, god dang it. You know, and it won't be that particular verbs used. But all I say is just sit down and try to make things fun, to explain. Take the time to explain, you know, and you can explain things to kids and don't make it seem like you're answering to them. You're like, you know, why? Well, I don't understand that. Well, I'm sorry for you. I'm explaining it to you. It's based on facts, and this is how it's going to go. So you can either take it that way and we can continue a discussion, or we can go back to because I said so. And if you ain't in this house before night turn, I'm kicking your behind. Whatever you're going to do, you know, whatever you're going to do. But what I say is sit down to speak to your kids and not at your kids. Speak to them. Allow it to be a dialogue and not a monologue. A lot of parents, they monologue, even though if you sit down and say, okay, we're having a conversation. Yeah, we're having a conversation, but you're doing all the talking. That's a monologue. That's not a dialogue. So that's what I would say as far as that concerned. Hope that I answered your question, Katrina. Yeah, Katrina. I hope you ain't got a whole bunch of badass children. And that's going to be the end of our show today. Again, I always wish you guys well and everything that you do. And this channel appreciates everything that you do for us. And remember, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up button below. We will see you Saturday. And yes, the show will be up Saturday night for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going out of town, so I'll be here. We will have our Saturday show, and we'll talk about Jim Brown. Oh, Lord, Jim Brown, Ray Lewis, Donald Trump, that type of stuff right there. We'll definitely delve into that a little bit. Also, remember, Monday's show of What's the Real Deal, we'll be talking about Netflix. We're going to break that down, and we're going to chop that up and see what's going on there. I got a whole bunch of inquiries about if I seen certain movies and stuff and would I be willing to do like reviews and stuff. I'm not really a movie critic and stuff like that, so I don't know if I'm going to do something like that. We'll see. Matter of fact, you know, if you guys think about that, hit me up. Let me know what you think. But until then, in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay encouraged, peace, and we out of here.
Buck wild.